computer-programmed reality. We are living in a computer-programmed reality, and the only clue we have to it is when some variable is changed and some alteration in our reality occurs. We would have the overwhelming impression that we were reliving the present, déjà vu, perhaps in precisely the same way, hearing the same words, saying the same words. I submit that these impressions are valid and significant, and I will even say this: such an impression is a clue that at some past time point a variable was changed, reprogrammed as it were, and that because of this an alternative world branched off.
Hey, good afternoon. Robert Phoenix here, broadcasting to you live from Flyover. What's going on out there? What's happening, everybody? I'm going to be, sorry I'm a little late. I've had some technical difficulties. Doing my best to launch this show today. Apparently, I needed to update my Flash player so I could interface with the technology. That took a while, longer than I thought it would, and then I had to upload today's program, which I'll be playing here shortly. And we're going to be doing a kind of a simulcast of sorts today as well. I interviewed my good buddy Robert Bonomo, who lives in Andorra and has a new film on the Tarot, 21 Faces of God. And we did that yesterday, and it was a great interview. And Robert's been on the show before a couple of times, and he and I talk maybe about once a week. Skype maybe about once a week or so. So we're friends. We're internet buddies. We're internet pals. That's what we do. And he put out a really great film over on YouTube called The 21 Faces of God. It's a two-hour movie about the Tarot. And he goes through the major arcana and takes you through the arc of the major arcana and the journey through the cards. And it all started about 2 years ago. He'll tell you the story inside of the interview. It all started about 2 years ago when I actually did a reading for Robert. And I urged him, looking at his chart, to write a film script or make a movie. I think it was make a movie. And it stuck with him, and he did. And it's a good one. So if you have any interest in the Tarot, I suggest you go find the video, which is 21 Faces of God. Robert's doing a bunch of interviews right now. So he's all over the place. And we talk about a lot of other very interesting material, from censorship to the midterms. I got a letter from YouTube yesterday on my Gmail account around monetization. And they took away my ability to monetize because my content was not meeting the community standards. So they're protecting their community against my content. And they said that I can actually reapply, but I'm going to have to take some of my stuff down in order for them to feel like I'm safe, that I'm a safe content creator. So I put that up on Facebook today. It's gotten a lot of really interesting traction. People are talking about it. It's not, I tell you, we are in times they want to shut this shit down before the midterms happen. I mean, they want to lock it down. They don't want any kind of variance. They don't want any of these yahoos, any of these troublemakers getting in there and hacking the system. There's a document that I point to that's just come out, and it has the alt-right, and it has one of these sort of interstitial relational nodal maps about who are the influencers and who they influence and who they influence. And when you go over, if you, there's two ways you can do this. So when I start the interview, I'm going to hit publish over on YouTube because that's where the actual video for the show is. And I'm doing the broadcast today here on the FARcast because there's a chat room. So if you wanted to get in chat, you can't do the live chat over on YouTube. Although I suppose you could, but it's not like the normal live chat. You'll see this diagram that I'm talking about. You'll see who's kind of in there. And this is a really extensive document. It's probably about 50 pages. And I believe it was funded by Soros and, usual suspects. And the whole idea here is that they're really going after, in a very aggressive way. This is a war now. This is a full-on war. They are going after content creators. And it starts here around the midterms, but it has long-lasting consequences. Long-lasting consequences. And one of the things that I think that will be staring down is it opens the floodgate of deep censorship. And it's not just about deep censorship moving forward, but what's occurred previously in time. I watch a lot of old movies, and some of these old movies are a little salty. And they don't have the same kinds of attitudes. People aren't portrayed in the same ways in some of the older movies. And there are young people who, thank God they haven't discovered old movies. But watch out when they do. Watch out when they do. Watch out when the snowflake millennials discover Clint Eastwood's back catalog of films. Watch out when they discover the spaghetti western. Those 3 films that he did with Sergio Leone, they are so politically incorrect it's not even funny. From Eastwood's attitudes and behaviors around women, the fact of the matter that they were shooting these films in Italy, and the actors of the film weren't even Mexican or Hispanic. Think about that. Just think about that alone. How Eurocentric it must be to produce a Western in Italy and not even employ the people from the country that the Western is supposed to be taking part in. And then there's the violence, the guns. I'm telling you. I think that the millennial cinematography and their library sort of ends at or begins right around the new Star Wars series, right? I think that's when they kind of pop in. Everything from the second generation of Star Wars and after. God forbid they should go back into the 1950s, 1940s, when men slapped women who were out of control. Holy shit. I'm telling you, it is coming. It is coming. The book stuff is already happening. Amazon's already banning books. They've been doing it for a while now. We're in interesting times. I'm telling you. I am telling you. And I don't think they're going to abate. If we're looking at this from a top-down perspective, we'd think that Jeff Sessions or Trump or somebody in the administration would come in and put the hammer down. And they can put the hammer down. It's easy. It's easy. All the administration has to do is go after these guys with taxes, tax breaks. Just bring them in and say, look, here's the deal. You either level the playing field, let everybody have a shot, let the algorithm determine who and what people watch, or start taking a look at your books and antitrust and your taxes, and we'll make sure that, we'll get a pound of flesh out of you. Here's the problem. The problem is that behind the veil at Facebook, behind the veil at Amazon, behind the veil at YouTube, behind the veil at Google, behind the veil of Twitter, guess what? Intelligence gathering. Intelligence gathering. Whether it's U.S.-based NSA, CIA, DARPA, black budget, or whether it's our pals, the Israelis, who are running all those surveillance and information systems for those agencies, they're behind the wall. They're behind the veil. So these entities are vested, even with Amazon. Amazon's got a cloud deal going on with the CIA. Amazon's providing a cloud for the CIA. Do you think that these arms of the government, these appendages, are going to allow somebody like Trump and Sessions to go in and strong arm them and muscle them, where essentially they're partners with these entities that happened really from the start? They're not going to let it happen. Will not let it happen. So the game is on. I mean, it is on. I mean, this is one of the things that's interesting about humans, is that when you move the cheese, humans get clever. They get clever. Like, okay, you're going to move the cheese. Well, we're going to move the cheese here. Now we're going to do something else. And let's see how you deal with that. I don't know. Maybe people will do something radical, like start their own local newspaper again. Maybe that'll be an interesting thing. Could be. I mean, I'm sure that the price on printing, if you think about it, all the software is there now. You could lay out a newspaper real easily. And then you could probably buy some printing equipment fairly cheaply, because newspapers are going out of business. That is definitely a buy low. That's a buy low proposition. It's an interesting thought, right? Have your own newspapers. They're going to shut them down too. They're going to come in and shadow ban your printing press. It sounds nuts, but we're getting there. We're getting very close. We're not even getting there. We're already there. I mean, this is full on censorship mode, which is why I've created 2 channels over on YouTube, and I'm going to be moving a lot of my 15 Minutes of Flame stuff, hopefully, over to this other channel, and just make the 11th house strictly an astrological channel. And I'm not doing it to get monetized. I don't care about monetization. I'm doing it because, number one, I want to separate church and state, and number two, it just feels